As much as I'm absolutely buzzing that Angron is coming back, I fear for Guilliman. What is Guilliman going to do now that he has 3 of his traitor brothers back plotting against him? Yes, we can argue that he's kind of took care of one already with Mortarion and the Plague Wars, but I'm sure Mortarion will be back at some point. But with Magnus, Mortarion and Angron now unleashing their forces on the Imperium and the galaxy as a whole, how can the Imperium fight this? You could argue that the Imperium received a boost in its defensive capabilities with the Primarchs Marines being introduced, Call introducing all types of new weaponry, tanks, technology, but at the end of the day, these are demonic Primarchs. They bring with them the powers of chaos, and that is a complete different level of a threat. I think the only way that Guilliman survives this is someone comes back and helps him. Now, we're going to jump down the rumour well because there's a lot of things stirring down here, because apparently there is going to be a loyalist Primarch returning with 10th edition, and if you believe the timescale of these editions, it seems that 10th edition is going to be coming out sometime 2023. I've always said around summer 2023, maybe at the end of summer, maybe at the start of summer 2023. So that's not that far off, really. That's kind of like, what is it, it's like less than a year now. Probably just a year away now for 10th edition. Now, the rumor is that Lionel Johnson is apparently going to be the Primarch that comes back with 10th edition. He gets all the love, and then again, all the Dark Angels get all their upgrades and stuff like that. That is the rumor that is circling at this moment in time. That would make sense, because you do have the Fallen gathering in Legion-sized strength in the northern parts of the Imperium that's been cut off from everyone else. You know, you have Dante over there. Again, another rumor that he's going to be getting a model. Again, there's a lot of things that make sense with that rumor, but there's also one thing that is really, really sticking out in my head, and a lot of people's heads as well, is that back in 7th edition, there was a post by a chap that stated that Primarchs were going to be coming back in the later editions, and everyone was laughing at this chap, saying, Games Workshop will never do that. You know, this is a setting, not a story. You know, you're never going to get Magnus, you know, Mortarion, Guilliman, anything like that. And the list that that chap put forward was Guilliman coming back, Magnus coming back, Mortarion coming back, Angron coming back, and lastly, Leman Russ coming back as well. So for me, I'm looking at that list and thinking to myself, well, this chap has predicted 4 out of 5 Primarchs so far. So surely the next one has to be Leman Russ. Now, if this does happen and Leman Russ is the one that returns, I really, really hope they change him from what he was back in the Heresy to the Great Crusade to more of a newer, more experienced Primarch. I've always said old man like Odin Leman Russ, maybe missing an eye to, like, you know, symbolize, you know, him and Magnus and stuff, all his fights along the way, but just more matured, more experienced, more calm in his way of war, rather than just going, let's attack them and let's rip them all apart. You know, as much as I enjoyed seeing Leman Russ rage and take on the enemy, I think a more matured and better experience would suit the 40k setting even more. But then I look at the Lion and I think to myself, would the Lion make a better choice of returning because of the narrative that he would bring? We all know that the Lion was not the most sociable person in the world, especially with his brothers and authority of the Imperium, and to see him come back now in this current setting with the Imperium ripped in half, it would be really a kind of an eye-opener, and I think it would be a really, really cool experience to see his take on it. Would he accept the church as Guilliman's accepted it, as like an enemy of my enemy kind of thing, and he's using them to his own means, or would he just take the sword to them because this is something his father did not agree with? Would he even agree with Guilliman? Would he take Guilliman's side? Would he look at Guilliman and say, okay, you are the Lord Commander of the Imperium? Or would he look at it and say, hey, I should be Lord Commander of the Imperium, not you. I am more prowess in battle, I have achieved more, I have done more, I have sacrificed more for the Imperium than you could ever dream of, Roboute. It could even lead to another civil war. And I know, I'm sure us Imperium players are kind of sick of civil wars at the moment. We're just only finishing the Horus Heresy at this point to only have another civil war. Do I think that will ever happen? I don't think it would. I don't think Games Workshop would go down that road because, you know, they want Space Marines to sell as Space Marines as one faction. But then again, you can have Space Marines within Space Marines and different factions. Mother of God, this could be like the greatest marketing technique that Games Workshop could ever do. Firstborn versus Primaris Marines or something like that. Really jump on like the fans' anger and debate and frustrations. Hey, if you rebel against Guilliman, it means you're rebelling against the Primaris Marine with your Firstborn. And people are like, I want to do that. I want to do that. Damn the Primaris Marines. I'm not going to go down this road because it seems absolutely heretical. Another idea is to bring someone back who is not a Primarch, but is on the same level / above a Primarch in combat abilities, and that is, of course, Valdor. We know that Valdor didn't die at the Siege of Terror. We know Valdor just disappeared one day, and that was it. He's still out there. He's still doing something in the galaxy. There is a lot of rumors that Valdor may be the King in Yellow. Again, we'll have to wait and see what Dan does with the final act of his Eisenhorn, Ravener, Beckwin series, which, by the way, is the greatest piece of literatures, because it's like 9 books. It's going to be like 9 books, but it's more than 9 books of all the short stories and Magos and stuff like that 40k has ever received. Trust me, if you haven't read those books, do yourself a favor, go out and buy them, listen to them on Audible. You will have an absolute roller coaster of a ride. Anyway, if Valdor did return, then I'm sure he would actually fit into Guilliman's plans. You know, Valdor would want to destroy Chaos. He would want to protect the Emperor, I would think. You know, he's probably not going to have that back and forth with Guilliman saying, you know, I should rule, I should do this. He'd probably maybe he'd lead the Custodians again. Maybe Valoris would give up his mantle and say, no, Valdor has returned, you should leave the Custodians. I personally think that if Valdor did come back, he would come back with his own type of faction, his own type of stuff around him, like his own type of, you know, men and command staff and stuff like that, and he would lead his own personal war by the direction of Guilliman to the enemy. Now, there's one more thing with Valdor returning, and that is he is actually connected to Leman Russ, and this could work again with the rumor that we just mentioned during the start of the video. If Leman Russ does return, then that could open the door for Valdor returning as well. Those two are connected by their weapons. Each received a spear from the Emperor. I know Leman Russ's spear was found, and Valdor probably still has his somewhere. But I personally think with Valdor returning or Leman Russ returning, whoever came first, vice versa, it would mean that the other one would then return to the setting. So what we could have is Leman Russ returning to aid Guilliman, which would make it, you know, 3 against 2 in terms of course, you know, Magnus, Mortarion, Angron versus then Guilliman and Leman Russ. But then it could be 3 versus 3. Because with Leman Russ coming back, that means Valdor would come back. And I'm going to say this. I think Valdor can easily hold his ground against a demonic Primarch. There's a lot of rumors about what Valdor was, why he was so special to the Emperor. For those of you who don't know, the Emperor literally marched armies across Terra just to acquire Valdor. He has a special purpose. He's a special being, and we don't really know the full information why. But if the Emperor was willing to sacrifice so much for one thing, then I'm sure it's very, 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 very important. As much as I personally think that 9th edition as a tabletop game is in the gutter at this moment in time, and that is not a slap to anyone who's enjoying it. If you're enjoying it, props to you. I love that you're having fun. The lore side of things are always going to keep me attracted to Warhammer 40,000. I love the stories, I love the setting, I love what's happened with the Great Rift. Yes, I'm one of them people who love the idea of the Primaris Marines. I still love the Firstborn. If anything, a Space Marine is a Space Marine to me. It's just all the bloody same. And having new big powerful beings coming back to the setting, like Angron that we're getting now, potentially new Primarchs coming back, the Lion, Lehman Russ. It could be, do you know what? It could be Jagatai Khan. It could be Vulcan. It could be the greatest Primarch, Dawn himself, returning. This is what gets me excited. This is why I love doing what I'm doing now on the computer, to talk about these awesome bloody things. So all I want is something big to happen and have this big Royal Rumble of characters, narrative stories, just everything that we love about 40k just happen. You know, war, endless war, eternal war with these super beings of unimaginable strength and abilities just clashing on battlefields and ripping each other apart. That is what I want. Anyway, Chaperonios, thank you for coming. Thank you for watching this video. I don't know what this video is supposed to be. I don't know what it is. It's just me talking. I just woke up and I just want to talk Primarchs. I'm so excited with everything that's going on with Angron and everything that potentially could happen in the future. If you've got any ideas, anything like that, please let me know. I'm actually planning on doing a video probably sometime next week about possible narratives where we could go in Warhammer 40,000, talking about all the big things which is yet to be touched on, and where we could basically just go and fight and experience, and things can come back in, everything like that. But yeah, leave your thoughts, feedback, anything like that down below in the comment section, and we'll have a nice little talk down there as we always do. See you now, have a great day, and bye-bye.